Hi, Paul Heffernan here. Hey, this is video 6, and this is I'd just like to explain around where our anxiety, our depression, our fear, our anger, our addictions come from, worry, stress, etc. And to do this, I need to actually go back, and I've talked about it before. We go back to the day of when we're born. And we have all these people who are influencing us in our lives, our mother, our father, our grandparents, etc., brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, cousins. And as we're getting older, friends, we go to play centre, and we go to kindergarten and preschool, and we meet other parents. There's other people around us. And as life goes on, we go off to school, and we have these teachers, and we have other people, and then we go off to college, and there's all sorts of people who are influencing our life. And some of those people they don't create, but we take on board, we see it as a negative event. Like, we could be bullied at school, we could have been told off by our parents and we're sensitive about it. We could have a father or mother, or we could have addiction in the family, and that has an impact. We could be growing up in a lower socioeconomic environment, all sorts of different scenarios. But what happens, all these scenarios, for some of us, create negative events. And sometimes we go, oh yeah, for some people it's water off a duck's back, and it doesn't impact them. They don't actually get any negative emotion around it. They just see it and go, oh, that's just the way it is. Because I've worked with families where, there's been twins, and there's been brothers and sisters, and one or two have ended up with anxiety and the others are fine. Okay. So it's each individual person. And so what happens over time, these negative events build and build and build. But what's tied to them is the negative emotion. And if we hold on to it, I call that, it becomes a habit. We hold on to that negative emotion that sits within us. And as time goes, these negative events and negative emotions increase and increase and increase and increase and increase to the stage where all of a sudden one day we go, oh, I feel anxious. Oh, I've got fear. I'm scared. I'm in a dark hole. I'm in depression. Okay, or actually then what happens for a lot of people, they turn to, alcohol seems to calm me down. It relaxes me. And then, or they might use drugs, and that relaxes them. They say it relaxes, it takes away all that anxiety, it takes away the stress, it takes away the fear. But then that builds into an addiction. So many people I work with, I always say this, they sometimes say they have an addiction. And what they've really done is actually all they're doing is pushing down all the emotions, keep pushing them down. And once they do mind shift, they realize they don't have an addiction. Okay. But if their drinking does carry on, they realize they do have an addiction as well. Okay. So not everyone has an addiction when they think they have it. But what happens, around with all these emotions, they just create turmoil, and they're like they're all tied together, and we don't know what to do. So this is where our anxiety comes from. It comes from past negative emotions, from past negative events. And I've said in a number of my videos, you cannot change a past event. You cannot change a negative event. You cannot change a positive event. We cannot change an event in our life. But what Mindshift does, it actually removes the negative emotion tied to that negative event. Okay? And I talk about, quickly again, I talk about my mother dying, and me being, just so angry and resentful. And, I was just so wild. And I held on to that, and I had such a negative emotion. It stayed within me for a long time. Now today, there is no emotion tied to that event. I've worked through it. As I've said before, I practice mind shift myself on a daily basis. And my wife reminds me to practice it as well. Okay, because we're not saints, we don't become perfect, but we have a solution that frees us for good if we practice it. And so I just wanted to share that about where they come from, so you have a good understanding, a good grasp that it's not the mind. What's happening around the mind is that the emotions are controlling the mind. Okay, those negative emotions are controlling our thinking many times. Okay, a lot of the time they're controlling it. And so what Mindshift does, it releases us and allows us to create a new future for ourselves. Now that's exciting and that's powerful. And hey, look, and if you're just looking around, go to the testimonials, because that's the truth. That's the truth of the whole program. The people who've done mind shift. I can talk to you till the cows come home. But these people have been through it. These people, you will see, had tried to commit suicide. They were going to put themselves in psychiatric hospitals. They just were sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they wanted a new life. So if you want that life, read the blogs, read the testimonials, read the site. But don't stay where you are. In some of the future videos, I'm going to talk about fear of change for people, because a lot of people will say, hey, I want to change. But in this video, I've presented where our anxiety, where our depression, where our addictions, where our fear all comes from. Hey, so thanks for listening, and enjoy the videos, and look forward to the new ones. Thank you.